Welcome into the Thunder Basketball Universe presented by Summer Moon Coffee. We are recording today's episode on Tuesday. It is December 9th. The Thunder just got back from Salt Lake City. I say just got back. It's been about solid 24 hours now that the Thunder's been home, which has been very nice. And now the Thunder has one game at home against the Phoenix Suns tomorrow, and that is going to be the NBA Cup Quarterfinal. But that brings us to where we currently stand with Oklahoma City. They are currently riding a 15-game winning streak, which ties the longest win streak in OKC history, and currently hold a 23-1 record, which is just the third team all time to start 23-1 or better through the first 24 games of the season.
Yeah, and you may remember the 15-game streak from last season as well. Kind of happened in a similar time of the season as OKC was really rolling there, mid-December into January. And so another opportunity early in the year for this team to continue to lay the foundation, put good game on top of good game on top of good game, and just stack those possessions together. And they're doing it as a team here. Yeah,
there's been a lot of different games. Now, 15-game win streak doesn't mean all of them have been Picassos by any stretch. They haven't all been perfect, but they have been very impressive in their own way. And we're going to break down some of the reasons why some of these wins have been so impressive. Let's get into our Summer Moon stat of the week. Nick, I'll let you go first. What's yours?
42%.
Shooting percentage.
That's a shooting percentage.
By a singular player?
No.
By a team?
By
the Thunder?
Not by the Thunder.
Okay.
It's some team in Europe. You haven't heard of it. No.
Is this like the Thunder's opponent's field goal percentage?
That's exactly what it is.
Am I right?
That's exactly what it is. Yep. That's Thunder opponent field goal percentage for the season, and it's lowest in the NBA. You're probably not surprised to hear that that's the lowest in the NBA, and that the Thunder is the team that's holding opposing teams to the lowest field goal percentage in the NBA. But I just thought today would be a good opportunity to just remind everyone of what the goal is when the Thunder gets out there on the court. And that is not necessarily to turn teams over a crazy amount, not necessarily to get out and, do that defense to offense flow. Yeah. That is a byproduct of how this team defends, but its core objective is to make opposing teams work. Mm-hmm. And over the course of the season, yet again, they built that defense back up from the ground up.
Yep.
They have made teams take difficult shots, made them take low percentage, difficult contested shots. The result, 42% shooting. And it's a compounding effect because, you get all those missed shots. That means you get rebounds and you're out in the open floor.
Yep.
And the guys that you don't want to get into a rhythm, don't get into a rhythm.
Exactly. It's about making everybody have to earn whatever they get out there on the court. Yep. I think a great example of this is the Thunder when they went up against the Dallas Mavericks. And you go up against a player such as Anthony Davis, who obviously a very strong offensive player who had it rolling going into that game. He was held to just, 2 points?
2 points.
2 points.
2.
Just one singular field goal. Yeah. And it was obviously a team effort, but great job by Jalen Williams, J. Will, and Kenrich Williams on that point of attack defense. Yep. But it wasn't just them. The entire team behind them very locked in on the scouting report. And because the whole goal for Oklahoma City is like, look, we know what you want to get to. We know what your plan A is, and we're going to take that away. And if plan B hurts us, plan B, like the second option out there on the floor, if that hurts us, so be it. But your first option is not going to be the reason that we get beat tonight.
Yeah, and even that Davis game, it wasn't until late in the second half, I think into the fourth quarter, that he got that bucket when the Thunder was already up by 30 in that game. And so
exactly.
The work had been done by the Thunder at that point, and they were still pushing the pedal down and making sure that nothing was going to be easy for the course of that game. And we just continued to see the compounding effect of the defense because oftentimes the Thunder is basically finishing these games through 3 quarters because
great point.
The opposing team has just been so stifled that they're ready to fold. They're ready to give in.
This also brings up an interesting point because we're talking about how the Thunder's defense systematically obviously works so well.
Yeah.
But it also works so well because of the individual personnel. And I think of guys like Cason Wallace, who obviously came into the league with incredible defensive talents. That's what got him out there on the floor.
Yeah.
That's what earned him starting spots here and there. But he's gotten better defensively, which is so crazy to think about. In his third season, he is second in the league in steals. I think he's third in the league in deflections. This man has only improved as an individual defender, and he's not the only one. Chet Holmgren has taken steps forward. Coach Dagnall has given Aaron Wiggins a lot of credit for his ability to take steps forward as a defensive player. He's taken on some sizable matchups as the Thunder has dealt with injuries so far this season. He's had to guard up and guard bigger players. I think he had minutes on Cooper Flagg the other night. Like, those guys are taking steps forward individually as defenders as well.
Yeah, I think Kaysen had 5 steals the other night against Utah. I mean, he looked like Spider-Man out there. I mean, seriously, there was that play out near half court where, I mean, he was taking up like 10 feet.
I see 3 Kaysen Wallaces out there.
It was just wild. Like, I could not, I mean, he just completely disrupted multiple plays in that game in such a sensational way. And, we often think of highlight plays on the offensive end. There were some massive defensive highlights in that game.
So many. I mean, any given night, the Thunder has a million. You could just put a little melt together with highlight tape of all their great defensive plays, and it would be a long tape.
Yeah, there's one that Chet had that I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later that I'm very much looking forward to delving into.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Yep.
I want to get to my stat of the week, though.
Let's do it.
I'll be shocked if you don't know this one. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
123.
I do know. I read recently that's how much the Thunder is scoring per game during this win streak.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Wait, that's your stat?
No,
okay,
but that worked.
Stat.
That was like, I forgot that was also the exact same number.
Okay, wow, harmony. Yeah. Okay, so what's your 123?
That is the total man games lost due to injury for Oklahoma City so far this season.
Yes.
And I want to point this out just because of this sheer fact that you look at the Thunder's record, 23-1. You look at the current win streak, 15 straight games, and you think that, maybe they've just, had an easy schedule, or maybe they just had it really, Shai's had it going here and there and whatever. Yeah. No. The Thunder has dealt with their fair share of adversity, and they've had a lot of different starting lineups over that stretch, too. You've had guys like Aaron Wiggins step into the starting lineup. You've had Kaysen Wallace, who has started every game this season, essentially. AJ Mitchell had to step into the starting lineup. We saw Jay Will step into the starting lineup as well. So for Oklahoma City, their ability to show a lot of adaptability, next man up mentality, and all of these guys to be able to reintegrate when they are healthy back into the lineup and still maintain this high level of play without taking steps backward as a team is a really good sign that the Thunder has a strong identity of how they want to play, and they're able to hold that standard regardless of who's out there on the floor.
Yeah, that's been the really cool thing is you watch any of these games, no matter which player's on the floor, they all look the same. The style of play is the same. Yeah. Now, the individual players out there on the floor, they are playing into their stylistic comfort zones and strengths. Mm-hmm. But the way that the overall system operates, the way the ball is moving, the way that the offense is getting into action, the way the defense, probably even more importantly, the way the defense is communicating, the way the defense is coordinating together and staying connected, all of that looks the exact same too. And meanwhile, there's times so far in the season where the Thunder's only had 8 of its 15 roster players healthy and available, and has been leaning on the 3 two-way guys in significant portions of the season. This is a lot of unluckiness for the Thunder when it comes to the health. Things you can't really control, the players or the performance staff really. I mean, guys out for things that are just, either freak accidents or medical situations that are beyond anybody's power or control. And so it is remarkable, though, what these players are doing, what the coaching staff has created in terms of a canvas for them to work off of. And maybe if you dig down even to the deepest roots, the identification of the players by the front office that can be adaptable and have the competitive drive and will to overcome any of these circumstances.
Exactly. And that brings me to one element of this that I think plays a huge factor, because I think the Thunder's last game against the Utah Jazz is a great example of this. You didn't have SGA, you didn't have Hartenstein, you didn't have Isaiah Joe, you didn't have Alex Caruso, and you didn't have Lou Dort. I mean, that's 5 regular rotation players.
That's a top 3 team in the West.
That's an exceptional lineup that is not on the floor for Oklahoma City. And yet the Thunder still won by 30 points in that game. But it's because we saw players like Ousmane Dieng come in, make a great impact. A guy like Brandon Carlson,
just
two-way player for Oklahoma City, comes into the game, 11 points in 2 minutes, 120 seconds, lit it up, 3 made threes, also had a dunk on like a pick and roll with AJ Mitchell. It was beautiful basketball. But all of that to say, those guys haven't had regular minutes all season long. Ousmane Dieng's been in and out of the rotation. Yeah. Brandon Carlson, obviously a two-way player. So, he's going to have some different minutes here and there. But all of these guys have participated in what the Thunder calls high-intensity workouts. These are workouts that happen most practices for players who have either low minutes or just haven't been playing in games. It's a way for them to just stay in rhythm, stay, it connected with the system, and also get a run in, get a workout in, really sweat it out, get those lungs open. And so for Oklahoma City, these practices happen pretty often, and it would be really easy for guys to realize, there's no one in the stands, no one's watching, and it's not like, I'm not promised minutes tomorrow, so I don't need to go 100%. No, these guys get after it. There is a high level of commitment from all of these guys. These are very spirited, very competitive workouts. A lot of time, they're 3-on-3 full court. It is exhausting. Yep. But these guys get after it and thus get a lot out of it so that when their number is called, they're ready to step into the game in rhythm, conditioned, and ready to rock.
Yeah, Mark Daigneault says basically what you put into it is what you get out of it. Yeah. And the Thunder is very fortunate to have guys who are really investing in that time. And I will make one little caveat. Sometimes there are people watching. In fact, a lot of times there are people watching. That's a good point. On the road, there'll be an entire busload of people that stay back for these sessions, even when, the main guys got to get off their feet and the guys that are in the rotation got to get back to the hotel, get rest, get a nap. At home at the practice facility, you'll see, some of the main rotation guys, they're going to sit on the sideline and they're going to hoot and holler a little bit as they watch these guys get after it. Yeah. And there's just a competitive verve that gets created around these sessions. And, it's one thing to, talk about it, but it's another when you actually see the proof out there on the floor that guys like Dieng and Carlson, they're primed and ready to go play and to go perform at an extremely high level. I mean, the sheer volume of threes that this team made on the road it shows you that they, had their juices flowing and they were in rhythm.
Yeah, Coach Daigneault often says you can't fake readiness, and those guys were ready as soon as they touched the court. And Coach Daigneault also said, look, there's a difference between compliance and commitment. And these guys, when it comes to those high-intensity workouts, when it comes to their individual work as well, their time with the OKC Blue, those guys are committed to every single minute that they have to utilize the resources around them to try to make sure that they're ready whenever their number is called. So very impressive stuff by this young Thunder squad.
I love that phrase, compliance versus commitment. I had to write it down here. It's really, really good. It's
when
really
Coach
good.
Daigneault said that,
I'm going to use that with my kids.
Yeah. Are you going to be committed or are you going to be compliant?
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that. That's good. All right. Let's talk about some of this week's takeaways, because there were certainly a lot. And I think one headliner that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet on the podcast is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander once again just completely etching his name into history books, putting his name alongside the greatest to ever play in this basketball league. Shai now has jumped into second in the longest streaks of games of 20 or more points in the NBA. He jumped Wilt Chamberlain and is now second to Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, it's a Shai sandwich with Wilt Chamberlain as the bread.
That's right.
Which is how it goes on a lot of these records. Wilt is usually at the top on these types of streaks.
You're doing something right when you're up there with Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah. And, Shai is he's the bastion of consistency. I mean, I'll never forget his, my whole life is consistent.
Oh, so good.
Phrase. It was so perfect to encapsulate who he is, what he's about. And again, the proof is out there for people to see night in and night out. And now, of course, a lot of great fortune has come with that. He hasn't, had a rolled ankle in the first quarter that's knocked him out of a game or something like that. Knock on every type
of it. Yep.
What we've got here in the studio. But this is the type of streak that it comes from not just a physical preparation, but a mental preparation leading into every game and an understanding of how long the game is. He never gets knocked out of a game mentally, even if his scoring's not going well early in a game.
Yeah.
Okay, he might get off of it a little bit more. He might try to play make a little bit more early or might try to bend the defense in different ways. Mm-hmm. But by the time that second half rolls around, he's always found the angles and the opportunities within how the opposing team is guarding that he's going to get his good looks. And we just see it time and again. There's only been even a few nights where he's even flirted with not getting 20.
Exactly. I mean, he's had 95 straight games now with 20 or more points. Mind you, there are only 82 games in an NBA season. So this is obviously spanned over the course of a year, more than a year. But with Shai, what really gets to me is when you factor in the fact that there's been 12 games where he hasn't played in the fourth quarter, and yet he still maintains 20 points a night. All of that to say, Shai is also top of every scouting report. You're the reigning league MVP.
Yeah.
You were the other team's number one priority to try to stop every single night. And yet Shai has conditioned himself, worked on his skill set, worked on, his game to be able to maintain this really high bar of production every single night, regardless of what coverages teams are throwing at him. Mind you, there's been some wacky coverages. Yeah. There's been some wild things, and yet Shai has still found a way.
Yeah, and that's just what he does. He's got a excellent supercomputer up there that is just analyzing the game, analyzing what's coming at him. And he demonstrates one of the greatest qualities. He just has this great level of restraint to not put all of his eggs in one basket in one aspect of the game right away and just take everything that's there. I think that he understands in that fully, embracing the 48-minute nature of the game, what his opportunities are now, what they're going to be later. And, maybe he's not overexposing different parts of the Thunder's, offensive strategy early, saving some of that stuff for late, because we also have seen he's been the best player in clutch time this season as well. So he's had some cards still up his sleeve when it gets to clutch time. Riddle me this. Not playing hardly any fourth quarters and still leading the league in clutch minutes. It's really, really impressive.
No, the math doesn't math right on that, because I'm like, this man barely plays any fourth quarters, and yet he leads the league in clutch points per game.
Yeah. Yeah. What are we doing here?
What? That's just excellence. It's just greatness. And I'm sorry, there's no other explanation for that.
Gives you everything that you need.
Exactly. Okay. Another guy I want us to talk about is Chet Holmgren, because he's been putting up some pretty big numbers, including the Thunder's last game against the Utah Jazz, where he had 25 points in this game. But what really gets me with Chet, and I was looking at this morning because I just found it fascinating. Chet now has 5 straight games shooting 50% or better from the field. His efficiency is really what captures my attention, because obviously Chet has so much versatility out there on the floor. He's obviously got a vertical threat, lob threat. He's obviously a great mid-range player. He's shooting more mid-range this season, but he's also a great three-point threat. So to maintain a high level of efficiency when you have that many different options of how you can score is really impressive to me.
I think back to when Chet was a prospect coming out of Gonzaga, and in preparation for that draft, I was looking at him. I think he didn't even take double-digit field goal attempts in college at Gonzaga. It was he was 9.9 field goal attempts per game. Yeah, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like, how's this possible? This guy's going to be, the number 1, 2, or 3 pick in the draft, and ended up going 2 to the Thunder. And then I realized he doesn't need more than that. That's all he needed to be efficient, impactful, and most importantly, impactful and productive. And so this is a guy that is not dominating possession. He is not taking bad shots. He is not taking heat checks. I remember the other night they played Golden State at home. He goes the perfect, I think it was 9 for 9 from the field or something like that. Most NBA players are taking 25 shots if they start out 8 for 8. Yep. If they start out 70.
They're crossing half court and launching it. Yeah.
And that's just never been how Chet is wired. He continues to make the correct play that's in front of him. It's why his teams always win.
Yeah.
It's why they always win.
That's a good point.
Whether he plays, in high school, in college, at Team USA or for the Thunder. And it's because he just makes the right play and he scores in impactful and efficient ways. And he is putting together an unbelievably efficient and productive season. Scored up above 20, half dozen, bordering on, 8, 9 times already this season. And so this is a guy that knows how to score and get those buckets in a way that does not disrupt what the rest of the team is doing.
All doing it within the flow of the Thunder's offense, which is what's most impressive, because Chet is such a basketball junkie. By the way, I do want to shout out the most recent episode of The Path that Royce Young did with Chet Holmgren. They both sat down in the film room, and it's 18 minutes of just if you love basketball, this is for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you really get an inside look into how Chet Holmgren thinks the game and also how he's grown his game. Because I brought this up because there's one little snippet in there where he talks about how he worked this summer on when he catches the ball, getting his eyes up to the rim and getting his elbow up.
Yeah.
To always be a threat to shoot from the 3-point line, because obviously he's perfectly capable of doing that. But it gives him another element of getting defenders up off their feet, maybe raise up a little bit so that he can go by them, and just seeing how he thinks the game, how he works the game, and navigates everything to find openings. It was fascinating.
And by the way, for kids, teenagers, whatever, listening at home, I mean, there's Chet Holmgren talking about the most basic of basic fundamentals. The very first things that you learn as a basketball player: balance, eyes, elbow, follow through, right? I mean,
he's triple threat.
Right. Yeah. He's talking about those things at the highest level of competition. So if you ever feel like what you're learning in youth league or in high school, I want to be able to do X, Y, Z. No, that's the stuff that still really matters.
It 100% matters, because we've seen it work in games for Chet this season, and he's focusing on those things. And it's leading to some all-star caliber numbers. I mean, over the last 5 games, averaging 20 points, shooting 65% from the field, 42% from the 3-point line, all the while 1.4 blocks per game.
That sounds like something to me.
Like an all-star.
Like an all-star.
Like an all-star. I was about to say.
We haven't even talked about the defensive end of the floor. By the way, we mentioned that the Thunder's opposing field goal percentage is 42%. Sure helps when you hold 16 opponents to 50% or less in the paint, and there's a guy named Chet Holmgren who happens to have a massive impact on that.
It's just...
Sorry, I'm kind of fired up right
now.
And
it's great. It's so good because it's true. Like, the Thunder can guarantee at least 2 shots per game erased from the other team. Sorry, you don't even get a shot off. I'm so sorry.
I mean, and how many drives do we just see, like,
completely
I'm taking
out.
This exit off the highway. There's some of these sequences where you just see guys, they beat the first defender.
Yeah.
And Chet's there, and it's like a game of chicken, and the opposing team is losing. They're not even getting a shot off there.
Let's think about this for a second. So you've got Chet Holmgren, who's averaging 1.5 blocks per game, basically. You've got Kaysen Wallace, who's averaging 2.5 steals.
Yeah.
So all that together, 2.5 steals, that's 2.5 possessions that an offense isn't getting a shot off. That's 1.5 possessions where they're not getting a shot off. And I haven't even talked about Lou Dort. I haven't talked about Alex Caruso. I haven't talked about Isaiah Hartenstein and his shot blocking.
How about Shai?
Haven't talked about
AJ
Shai.
Mitchell. Both those guys get steals left and right.
I mean, when you start adding all of that together, it's like 10 or 15 possessions where opposing teams are just like, can't get the shot to the rim. They can't even get a shot on goal. It's just winning the possession battle every single night. And Chet Holmgren, obviously a huge factor in that.
Yeah, I mean, I stealing this, but it's 24 points a game off of turnovers that the Thunder is getting. That's an entire player. Like a high level player.
Great point. When you put it in that way, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So amazing job by this Thunder team to basically, generate that type of extra effort here to add more scoring punch to, just ratchet down the pressure on the half court offense.
Speaking of all-star caliber players, can we talk about one more?
Absolutely.
How about Jalen Williams, J-Dub, who has since returned to the lineup for Oklahoma City since our last podcast after missing the first 19 games of the season. And what we've seen from J-Dub has been really impressive to me, specifically. Think about his position, right? He had an off-season wrist surgery, had a cleanup procedure, his shooting hand, and you're joining a team that started 18-1. That could really mess with your brain if you're obviously a high-level competitor. You want to be great. You have been great, and you want to come in and 100% throw a punch and make an impact immediately. It would be very easy for a guy like Jalen Williams, who has all the credentials in the world, to go in there and just try to force his way into a great offensive night, put up some big numbers to prove a point. That's not what we've seen from J-Dub. The offensive numbers have been really good. They've been solid. Yeah. But what's been more impressive is the fact that he has been holistically impactful every corner of the game.
Yeah.
And particularly on the defensive end, he's guarded 1 through 5 in his games back.
The first game back, Mark put him at the 5, and I was like, "This is so funny." I thought it was so hilarious. I thought it was a little bit like Mark, like just teasing him.
Yeah.
You know, like haha, you're back.
Yeah. Welcome back. You get to guard the 5 again. Yeah. And he did a great job.
He did great.
He did wonderfully. Yeah. And that's the one thing about J-Dub. He said, look, it's going to take some time to get my touch back, to get my rhythm back, to get my feel back out there on the floor. Like, things are just going to take some time offensively. In the meantime, by the way, in his first game back, 8 assists.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I just wanted to pass the ball to the guys who had been making shots up to this point.
He's like, I don't know whether I'm going to make mine, so I'm just going to get to the guys who are shooting well.
And it worked fabulously. Yeah. And he's done a really good job of just slowly generating that rhythm offensively, taking his time while not taking anything away from the guys out there on the floor. And now he's worked his way up to now having a season high 25 points in his last game against Utah.
Yeah, and to your point, the consistent metronome of this has been the assists and has been the playmaking. 5 assists or more in each of the 5 games that he's been back. Mm-hmm. So his focus has been operating offense, generating good looks. Mm-hmm. We know that sort of window of time, the first 6 minutes or so of the second quarter and the first 6 minutes or so of the fourth quarter when he has to play, is really a lot of J-Dub orchestrating offense, getting the team into a rhythm. And he's done a marvelous job of making sure the team is flowing in that time period. And that has allowed the team to be productive and efficient as his own individual rhythm on the offensive end of the floor continues to, percolate and kind of hit that great crescendo against Utah where you just really felt like, okay, this guy's in command.
No, it's been really impressive. And over the last 3 games for J-Dub, he's averaging 20 points on 54% shooting. Yeah. So that offensive rhythm, it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep getting better. But you can guarantee 100% impact from him when he steps out on the court, which just goes to show how great of a player he is. If the offensive numbers aren't necessarily there, the Thunder still would rather have him out there.
Of course, yeah.
Because of what he's able to do outside of just putting the ball through the hoop. He just helps this team run offensively and then really helps fortify you defensively as well.
He's had a handful of great, offensive plays already being back, some dunks. The play that he was most fired up about was knocking the ball off the leg of a ball handler in the Phoenix game back at home. He's like in front of the scorer's table, just losing his mind about knocking the ball off of this guy's leg.
It's really good.
This is J-Dub.
It's so good. It was so incredible.
That should be like a Thunder, This Is Sports Center thing. It's like, this is J-Dub.
It's J-Dub. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, fun J-Dub news. Last week.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that we should shout this out because it's very apropos. So last week, the Thunder was in San Francisco playing the Warriors. Well, J-Dub and a few Thunder staffers stayed back because J-Dub got his jersey retired at Santa Clara, his alma mater, where he played 3 seasons. And this was really special because he had his mom there, his dad there. His mom was crying the entire time.
Yeah.
His dad was there. His sister was there. And it was just such a special moment. I saw the pictures. I saw the video. And J-Dub said that it was obviously just such a special moment for him.
Yeah. The thing that I could not believe that he said was, I love that people, remember he's a basketball player and hopefully, I helped the program and, but I want people to remember me as that guy that they could just talk to and was, easy and great to hang out with it at my 8 a.m. classes.
That's what
and I said, sir, you took 8 a.m. classes?
Oh, man. Yeah, just having fun with my friends in my 8 a.m. class.
But that's how normal J-Dub is.
So
that's
normal,
in so many ways, he is, is an outlier of a human being in all of the different ways. As as talented and as skilled as he is, as funny as he is, as unique of a personality is. But he's also so completely normal that he's like, I wanted to be one of the guys at the 8 a.m. class. So that's J-Dub, even though he's probably playing until 10 o'clock the night 100%. Before, 11 o'clock the night before. He's up and at 'em. And of course he would be, just given his nonstop motor. I mean, that is the differentiator between J-Dub and so many of these other guys at the wing spot in the NBA. He is completely relentless, just a relentless soul. And that fire that burns inside of him is what has propelled him to the heights that he's gotten to.
And he deserves all of the accolades that he has gotten, including getting his jersey retired at Santa Clara. He also wasn't the only one. Shout out Thomas Sorber, who also had his jersey retired last week in Philadelphia at his high school, Archbishop Ryan High School in Philly. So congratulations to Thomas, who, by the way, we learned was the all-time leader in points and rebounds at Archbishop Ryan. Incredible.
And that's no small feat because that's a big time basketball school.
It's huge, yeah.
Area, so yeah. Big deal. Congratulations to Thomas. Hope that recovery is going great as well. We've seen him around quite a bit more, and it's been exciting to see him on some of these road trips and just getting a feel of what this is like.
Can't wait to see him back out there on the court. All right, so let's get into what's brewing for Oklahoma City. As I mentioned earlier, the Thunder has a game on Wednesday against the Phoenix Suns. This is the Emirates NBA Cup Quarterfinal. So you win this game and you advance, you go to Vegas, you lose, and you are out of the tournament altogether. So that means that the next game scheduled on the calendar, like if you look at the Thunder calendar as it was printed out, or if you go on your Thunder app and you look, you'll see the next game scheduled isn't until December 17th against the LA Clippers at home. But you can guarantee that there will be at the very least, one more game for Oklahoma City between Wednesday and December 17th. Could be two. But it all depends on how the Emirates NBA Cup plays out.
Yeah, and that Clippers game might not even happen on the 17th. So let me just break down a tiny bit. If the Thunder beats the Suns, they will go to Las Vegas and play the winner of the Lakers-Spurs game that is also the other Western Conference NBA Cup quarterfinal. If they go on and continue to win, they win that semifinals game against either the Lakers or the Spurs, then they would play in the NBA Cup final on Tuesday of next week, which would push that game against the Clippers to Thursday because they're not going to want a team to play a back-to-back coming off of the NBA Cup final, which is a game that is great, that is exciting, but ultimately does not count in the regular season standings. All that being said, if the Thunder falls on Wednesday to the Suns, they would then play the loser of the Spurs and Lakers game sometime over the next handful of days, either Sunday or Monday or something like that. So there you go.
A lot of shuffling potentially that could happen with the schedule, but all you need to know is you need to watch the Thunder's next game on Wednesday against the Phoenix Suns to figure out how all of this is going to work out for the next week and a half for Oklahoma City. Yeah.
And we'll have it for you on FanDuel Sports Network, so be sure to
That's right. And be sure to just stay locked on OKCThunder.com, at OKC Thunder on all social channels. They'll get you right with all the information that you need. But that wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much to our producer, Matt Bishop. And until next time, Thunder up and catch you later.